Hello, thank you for joining me this afternoon. I'm Corinne Brock, and you're watching 21 Alive News Plus. Got some new information in courts today to tell you about, so let's get right into that. A 65-year-old Fort Wayne man was arrested today. He was wanted on 6 counts of child molesting, as well as 1 count of dissemination of matter harmful to minors. Now, for Maurice Lyons, those charges combined carry a potential sentence of up to 180 years in prison. The victim in this case told her mother and school counselor about the alleged abuse back in 2024, prompting a police report. She was taken to the Fort Wayne Sexual Assault Treatment Center, according to court records obtained by 21 Investigates, and there she disclosed several instances of sexual abuse by Lyons. After her mother told police she had seen a nude photo of Lyons on the victim's phone, police downloaded its contents and allegedly found multiple messages between Lyons and the victim, in which nude photos were exchanged, as well as messages from Lyons to the victim directing her to delete parts of their conversations. One such message allegedly said, quote, "Love them, make sure you erase this," end quote. Now, online court records do not show when Lyons will be appearing in court for the first time on these charges, but we'll keep you updated as we learn more. Now, today we also learned the sentence for a 19-year-old Fort Wayne man charged in a deadly 2025 shooting. Let me pull that up for you now. 19-year-old Jalen Murray was initially charged with murder in the death of 59-year-old LaRon Rossi. Also charged in the case was 19-year-old Jaden Cosme, who was sentenced for his role last week. Both teens took plea deals in this case, with Cosme pleading guilty to assisting a criminal in exchange for his murder charge being dismissed. He was sentenced last week again to 6 years in prison. Now, Murray's agreement called for him to plead guilty to reckless homicide and a firearm sentencing enhancement. His murder charge was also dismissed per his plea agreement and left his sentence up to Allen Superior Court Judge David Zent. He received a 16-year sentence today. And to break that down for you, that is the maximum sentence for reckless homicide, as well as an enhancement of 10 years. 2 years of that sentence were suspended, leaving Murray to face 14 years in prison for that deadly shooting. Now I do have some more information on a search for a Fort Wayne 17-year-old who is accused of felony murder. Now, Mariah Franklin is charged with felony murder again and attempted robbery in this case. The search is continuing for her after she was accused of shooting and killing her accomplice in a January attempted robbery. Mariah Franklin is again charged with felony murder and attempted robbery. A woman has also been charged in this case, 29-year-old Christina Birch. She is charged with obstruction of justice, but she is identified in court records as being the victim of that robbery attempt. I'll explain a little bit more why she is facing a felony charge in this case later. But Birch did tell police that she was meeting with 19-year-old Damian Jacobs to sell devices, something that they had done previously, according to court documents obtained by 21 Investigates. And the day of the shooting, they were meeting to do just that, work together on selling those electronic devices, but Jacobs brought Franklin along with him. He was supposed to be bringing multiple devices, but Birch told police, but he only brought 1 tablet. And as they were discussing that, Franklin upped her gun and told Birch they were taking everything. Jacobs agreed and searched the car and Birch's person for more items as Franklin got out of the vehicle with the gun aimed at Birch, saying, quote, "I'm about to blow this expletive up," end quote. And Jacobs turned the car off and told Birch not to touch the stick, but she quickly turned it back on and put it into drive. According to court documents, and as she did, Franklin allegedly fired 1 shot into the car, and Birch says Jacobs immediately went limp and fell into her lap. Birch identified Franklin during a photo array as the person who attempted to rob her alongside Jacobs. And if you have any information on Franklin's whereabouts, you can call the Allen County Sheriff's Department tip line at 260-449-3343. Again, that is 260-449-3343. Now, I did say that Birch is facing a felony charge in this case, and that is because detectives say that after Jacobs was shot, she pushed his body out of the car, dumped his cell phone that was in the car, and gave his gun away that was also in the car, as well as wiped down the vehicle after that case, eliminating a lot of evidence that was there for officers to look at. And we will keep you updated as we learn more in this case. And next, we have a national story that I am sure a lot of you folks have been following. That is the disappearance of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. Nancy Guthrie is the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie. And I just wanted to give you an update on where things stand in that case. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos has shared that despite many rumors circulating about the case, none of Nancy Guthrie's adult children or their suspects or their spouses are suspects in this case, saying any suggestion otherwise is, quote, cruel, end quote. Also, DNA found on a glove 2 miles from Guthrie's home did not match profiles in a federal database known as CODIS. Currently, authorities do not have a leading theory as to what the motive could be in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, and ABC's Aaron Katarski has more on this case. Let's get into it.
Investigators here in Tucson are now considering at least the possibility that Nancy Guthrie was taken across the border into Mexico. That's just about 60 miles from her home here, and it's a relatively open border, so it wouldn't be a difficult crossing. The FBI has reached out to law enforcement officials in Mexico. There are even groups of women who look for the disappeared, missing persons in Mexico who are putting up posters of Nancy Guthrie now just to see if they can help. But there is no definitive evidence Guthrie was brought into Mexico. This is purely a precaution just to put her disappearance on the radar of the Mexican authorities. Here, the reward for information about her or her captor has doubled thanks to an anonymous donation, now $200,000, and investigators say that may be their best chance to shake loose some kind of suspect. They're still working through the doorbell camera footage and trying to identify all of the items that the man is seen wearing and where he may have purchased them. The sheriff suspects they could have all been purchased at Walmart, and Walmart is now going through receipts statewide. One of the individuals that was briefly detained for questioning last week has been identified now as a Luke Daly, according to his lawyer, who says he has nothing to do with Nancy Guthrie, but hopes, like everyone else, she's found soon. Back to you.
And now anybody with information on this case is asked to call the FBI, and I'll give you that phone number here. It's 1-800-225-5324. Again, that's 1-800-225-5324. You also can visit the FBI's website to submit a tip in that case. And that is all that I have for you this afternoon. Thank you for joining me. You can tune back into our newscast at 4 o'clock to hear more about today's top stories from Heather Heron and Linda Jackson. Thank you so much for joining me. Corinne Brock, 21 Alive News.